our Chocolate Uplift Instagram Live today. I am so excited to see you. Thank you so much for joining. Yay! Well, as you know, we are doing a special broadcast as part of the Stay Home with Chocolate Festival in honor of Father's Day. And as you might also know, I can manage to put a social justice, equality spin on anything, including Father's Day. So what we're going to talk about today, I'm so excited to see you here and share this with you. What we're going to talk about today is rad dads, men who craft chocolate and equality. Ooh, so I put together a super exciting program for you, but I should introduce myself first. I'm Valerie Beck, and I eat chocolate every day. Yay! Who's with me? Who else eats chocolate every day? Of course you do. That's why we're here. And I don't know if you can quite see on your screen what I've got spread out and assembled here for you, but I've got two amazing brands, and I'll hold them up super quickly and then tell you why we've got them. I have got Xocolatl chocolate of Atlanta, if you can get a look at that, and I've got OBOLO chocolate of Chile, Santiago, Chile. So the reason that I've got these two brands with me today, as you know, we are going to be talking with the men behind the brands, the rad dads who are the chocolate makers of these two brands. So before we bring them on, Matt of Xocolatl and Mark of OBOLO, I thought I'd sort of set the stage a little bit because I heard a wonderful, and I see eating chocolate the whole day, by the way. Yes, and when I say I eat chocolate every day, sometimes I mean every hour. You too, right? It's the food of the angels. It's nature's perfect food. I've got here the cocoa beans that are the actual beans that go into these chocolate bars. They're from Pangoa, Peru. I've got cocoa nibs from that same origin, and then of course the chocolate bars. So we are eating it all day, every day, in one form or another, right? So to set our scene of talking about rad dads for Father's Day, men who craft chocolate and equality, I heard a wonderful phrase from a former student of mine. So before I started the original chocolate tours a long time ago, and now my Chocolate Uplift consulting and distribution business, before all of that, I was a lawyer. A sad, unhappy lawyer, because I wanted to do something about justice, and instead, I was doing corporate finance. So I got out of that, got into chocolate, but I ended up teaching on the side business law to culinary, hospitality, and entrepreneurship students. And so that sort of was a fun project to bring it all connected and together for me. So one of my former students told me a wonderful phrase one day. He said, "Men of quality do not fear women of equality." And I thought that was such a lovely phrase because it's true and because you could swap out those categories with anything else, couldn't you? For example, today we're seeing this extraordinary surge of more and more people understanding in a very powerful way that we don't want to see white having power and privilege over black or brown or anybody else. We don't want to see man having power over woman. We don't want to see, if you're me and go all the way radical, I don't want to see anyone have power or privilege over anyone. And so that phrase resonated in my mind that, right on, right? That men of quality do not fear women of equality. And I thought, wow, that could just be expanded out to encompass the entire human family, that we are one, and craft chocolate is a wonderful way to bind us together. So in a minute or two, we're going to welcome our first guest to this exciting day of Stay Home with Chocolate. We'll talk first with Matt Weyandt of Xocolatl and then with Mark Gerrits of OBOLO chocolate. So can you see my background here? This is real life. I'm here in what I call my downtown log cabin beach house in Chicago, and we're having just the most beautiful spring and summer that anybody can almost remember, and it's just been amazing to experience this natural beauty. And for me, Mother Nature has always been so inspiring, and I bet you feel the same way too. And one of the things that I love about craft chocolate is that it's so close to nature. And as you may know, I talk a lot about the 5 S's of first-class craft chocolate. And to me, What makes craft chocolate so special are these 5 S's. Craft chocolate is slavery-free. And let's face it, we know that Black Lives Matter. That must also include Black African lives, right? 2.1 million child slaves are working in hazardous conditions in Ivory Coast so that we can have cheap chocolate globally. That to me is satanic. And many of us have been talking for a long time about bringing awareness to this and stopping this. And the momentum is very heartening, isn't it? So great craft chocolate is slavery-free, it is soy-free and industrial additive-free, it is sustainable, regenerative for the planet, it is small batch, and it is scrumptious. And so the brands that we are highlighting here and the gentlemen, supermen behind these brands that we'll be talking with soon really exemplify those 5 S's of craft chocolate. So I'm watching the screen, I'm waiting, yay, I'm seeing all these great friends and wonderful people signing in and joining in, and I'm waiting to see that Matt of Xocolatl will be joining in too. You know me, I could go on and on and on and tell you stories forever. So we'll give Matt a little time. And if Matt's having some technical difficulties, we've got a couple backups set up. Mark set up a Zoom line for us. We've got all kinds of ways to make this work. But we did a rehearsal this morning. Some of you were there, and I was so frankly impressed with all 3 of us, Matt and Mark and me, for getting it done. Because let's just say, speaking for myself personally, my greatest skill with technology is destroying it. I'm really good at that. So the fact that we were able to have a successful rehearsal this morning was very heartening to me. Okay, so we're waiting for Matt to join in, and I've got my laptop here, right here. I'm going to send him a little ping just in case. Ah, there he is. Okay, so now I click view because Matt is joining in. It's just a little delay, so while Matt is coming in, let's get ready to give him a big welcome with lots of hearts, waves, and all the great things we can do on Instagram. Live, I think I see Matt's material. There he is. Yay, Matt. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am doing great. I am so happy to see you. Do you realize, Matt, that it has been since 2017, I think, that we've seen each other in person?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's well, the last couple of months feels like a couple of years, so that seems even longer ago.
Good point. It's like dog years or something every month, every day. But I had so much fun visiting you in Atlanta and seeing your amazing space where you craft such amazing chocolate. I was so impressed with the efficiency of your production, and as you know, I am in love with the outcome. So my breakfast today involved the Love and Happiness bar.
Yeah.
It should be breakfast every day, love and happiness, right? So I saved one piece for later. But I'm a fan, so thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you.
Well, yeah, you bet. Looking good. Should we jump right in? Because one of the things that I love is what you might call your origin story. And I think that all of us joined here would love to hear, why did you decide to start Xocolatl?
Yeah, Elaine and I had previous careers before chocolate, and they weren't even in food, let alone chocolate. And we had been involved actually in progressive work. I had been doing progressive political campaign work, and Elaine had been doing international aid and development relief work. And but we were both a little burned out, and we decided to take a break. We had our kids were very young at the time. We had essentially a newborn, like a 4-month-old, and we went down to Costa Rica for about we were there for about 6 or 7 months, and while we were there, that's when we kind of fell in love with chocolate. I mean, I was into dark chocolate before that, but I had never really had bean to bar chocolate and just single origin chocolate. I remember the first chocolate tasting we did down there was with Caribbean's chocolate, which is down in the little town Puerto Viejo on the southeastern coast. And Paul, the owner there, he had beans from Raul's farm and beans from Octavia's farm, and being able to taste the differences, that was a whole kind of eye-opening experience for us. I'd never experienced chocolate in that way that you would experience like wine or coffee before. And so that was in 2013. I think, yeah, 2013, and we just really kind of fell in love with the process. And then as we learned more about chocolate and the history and the sourcing of it and everything, it seemed to align with a lot of kind of the values that we had, and it seemed like a way that we could kind of implement our values into a business and kind of build the business around those values. And so that's why I think we both got really kind of fired up about it, and we were both really into the vision for it, and we've been trying to sort of work towards that ever since then. So.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful story to me, Matt, in so many ways, because you and Elaine started together. You were able to fuse your values, your passions, your ethics into something that could nourish yourselves, nourish your family, and ultimately nourish us all. So it's just a great, fearless story of following what you believe in. Yeah. So speaking of Elaine, oh my goodness, those who know her know that she is not that phrase of behind every great man like you is a great woman. She's out front and center. She is the first one on the battlefield and last one off, and she's beautiful and we love her. And so I know that you and she have a very special relationship and partnership at home and in business. And I was hoping you could tell all of us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, working together, I always considered myself a very progressive, progressive man. And in previous work, I had been in positions of responsibility and leadership. And, starting the business with her, I think helped me grow a lot and realize areas where I could improve. and really, she is such a strong force and has so many skills and talents that, I mean, really, she is in a lot of ways our driving force. And I have my role. I do I do my things, but a lot of the time it's stepping back and letting her take charge. And that was a learning process for me and for both of us. We also, being a husband and wife and kind of, starting a business is, as you know, is 24-hour day total consumption of everything, and then the little time you've got. We also had 2 young kids, and so raising them together, there was just a lot of juggling. And the first couple of years, it took us a little time to sort of get things sorted out, but I think we're in a pretty good groove now. And it's been a journey. I mean, I think I think in a lot of ways it's strengthened our relationship because I think we've grown to appreciate things about the other person that we probably wouldn't have realized or even kind of been exposed to if we weren't working so closely together every day.
Yeah, that's powerful. What a beautiful intertwining of your work selves and your life selves. One of the things, I had a prior career too, as I had mentioned earlier as well, as a lawyer. One of the things that always frustrated me, one of the many things that always frustrated me in that career, is that it felt like I was always being asked to have a demarcation between my real Valerie and my work Valerie. I felt that I couldn't be my full self at work and not get fired.
Yeah.
And so, right? So one of the great things about entrepreneurship is we can be ourselves and hopefully not get fired. And being able to do that together with the person you love, wow, that's just a super beautiful model for all of us.
Yeah. And I think along the lines of what you're saying, I mean, that was also the other motivation for the business is to try to craft it. If it's your business, you can make it what you want it to be. And so trying to craft it into, something that will live up to our ideals, but then also allow us the space to, live, the lives that we wanted to live. So, it's a journey now.
A very thoughtful and adventuresome journey. And, by the way, we're getting some great hellos from lots of our mutual and individual friends, and a cat friend out on the West Coast is saying hi. We might see Georgie the cat strolling and sauntering around the background, so do not be alarmed if our feline counterpart makes an appearance. So that's the family I've got here in my downtown Chicago log cabin beach house, Georgie the cat. Now, Matt, you've got, as you mentioned, and as we know, a beautiful family, and so I'd like to share another great phrase that I heard. So the idea, thinking of children, is that what's caught is more important than what's taught. And it's an interesting idea, right? Yeah, because we can tell them all the things we tell them, but they are watching. They see what we do even more deeply than maybe they hear what we say. And so what I would like to know is, what would your kids say is the best thing about the family business?
Well, unfortunately, neither of them are actually huge chocolate fans right now. They kind of fluctuate in and out. When our daughter, who's the younger one, she early on was very into like our darker chocolate, our 85% bar, and that's faded a little bit. But I think probably the travel, we've tried to take them on. When we first went down to Costa Rica, of course they were with us. They were very young. Our son was only 3, and our daughter was just a baby. But he has some memories of that. And then we were able to take them on a sourcing trip to Nicaragua, where we've been buying beans for a couple of years, and also back to Costa Rica, where we're still buying beans from the same area that we were living in for a time. And so I would guess that probably those trips are, I definitely know they enjoy those, and I hope that those kind of, are imprinting some ideas in their head about, the world and the outside of the United States and just the bigger picture that we all live in.
I love that. And they're seeing you live as you believe, right? They're seeing you craft a product that you believe in, live a life that's in alignment with your personal values. That's something that not every kid gets to see of their mom and dad growing up. So that's powerful.
Yeah, and I hope so. I hope that's right. Yeah.
Awesome. We'll get them on the show when they're older. We'll find out.
Well, they would. The 8-year-old would ham it up right now. So she would be. Sorry, she's 7. She's about to be 8, but
7 going on 18, maybe. We know how that goes. It's all good. Well, the final question that I would love to ask you, while we're so lucky to have the time with you, is, I'm waving around the chocolate bar. What should we know about your chocolate for Father's Day or beyond? Any specials, promotions, good things that you want to share with us?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're still doing, we've been doing a 20% sale online. So our physical store, we're still closed. Things in Georgia have started to reopen. We're taking a little bit more of a cautious approach than what our governor is doing. But our online store is open. We're still making chocolate and shipping chocolate, and we've been doing 20% off online with the code Healthy20. So you can check out the website. We've got a couple of little gift box type things that we put together for dads. We've got a Just for Dads gift box, which we actually carry other chocolate makers products as well. So we've got a couple of our bars in there. One of my favorite is our Ripple Effect bar, which is, I think, a good dad bar. It has it's actually similar to the Love and Happiness, but we've added some applewood smoked nibs on the back of it. They give it kind of it's both a sweet and savory kind of flavor. And and it also, we include our chocolate hazelnut spread in there, and then we actually also include a box of the Fruition brown bourbon caramel box that they've got. So that's available, and there's lots of other stuff that you can check out, but definitely take advantage of the 20% off.
That's fantastic. I'm going to put all of this on my blog at chocolateuplift.com. I'll put links to the different retailers that carry you, but if people go directly to you, knowing that there's that really sweet discount, it's just lovely.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, I am so grateful that you took the time to share a little bit of the behind the scenes of how you and Elaine are able to work so well together, about how you are showing your family how you live your values, and about how you make some amazing slavery-free, sustainable, soy-free, small batch, scrumptious chocolate. So thank you, Matt. I wish you were here. I would give you and Elaine and the kids a huge hug.
Well, thank you for having me, Bethany. It's always a pleasure to see you, even this way.
Exactly. We did it, though. Wow, we did it.
It worked.
It worked. Thank you, Matt. Can't wait to talk again soon.
Thanks.
So, wow, wasn't that amazing? So, speaking to our participants now, as Matt signs off and we're about to bring Mark on, were you not inspired as well by his great stories, bringing 2 little kids to Costa Rica and letting them explore the world outside of their homeland of the U.S.? That's a really beautiful thing that a family can do, right? interesting logistics, but yay, now we're back to the screen I recognize, and I think we're still on. Oh, I see some great comments too. Love and Happiness with Nibs, fabulous idea. The Love and Happiness bar is one of Xocolatl's amazing bar, and Cocoa Nibs go with everything. So I love the great ideas. All right, so without further ado, I am gonna click and bring Mark of OBOLO Chocolate into the screen. So when Mark comes on, we can give him a big Instagram live welcome with yay, lots of waves and hearts and hugs for Mark from Santiago, Chile. How are you?
Hey, Valerie. Good. You?
I'm doing great. It is so wonderful to see you. And Mark, doesn't March feel in some ways, March 2020, like it was just yesterday, and in some ways like it was about 15 years ago?
Absolutely. But it's amazing that we're connected. I'm down here in Santiago, beautiful fall day.
Yes.
In our home. I'm at home now. Ironically enough, a year ago with my family, we were up in Chicago.
Yeah.
We had arrived today in Chicago. So
oh my goodness. Happy Chicago anniversary. It is such a colorful time that we live in. We got to say hi in person in March in San Francisco at the Craft Chocolate Experience. We're having the most beautiful spring in Chicago this year that anybody can imagine. I wish you could come back. And you're having a glorious autumn in the southern hemisphere. Yeah.
I wish I had a view. We had some rain yesterday, and there's nothing more beautiful than a Santiago day after a good rain, because the Andes Mountains are just covered in snow, amazingly beautiful. It's one of the things that I never get tired of living here in Santiago.
Oh, I love your positive attitude. We were talking earlier about a great connection to Mother Nature, and your brand OBOLO exemplifies that so amazingly. I've got a royal flush or a full house. I'm about as good at poker as I am at technology. I think I need a fifth bar somehow for poker. Well, that's down there. Anyway, I ate it. But the idea that I'm sort of getting around to is that, number one, I am such a fan of what you do, Mark, and of how you take the local flavors of Chile, like this spicy smoked mercan pepper that goes into, I need an extra hand that goes into this bar, along with these cocoa beans. I'm such a fan of how you combine these amazing treasures together, how you do it in alignment with your values and with love for Mother Earth. And I don't know if our hearers could hear from your accent. Of course, you speak perfect Spanish, but you're a Midwestern boy from from birth.
So I grew up just up the coast from you in Milwaukee.
Exactly. So I'm hoping that you can share with us, how did a nice Midwestern boy turn out to found the most exciting chocolate company in Chile?
Well, it's a long story, of course. Been 25 years down here in Latin America. Just out of college, came down with a backpack and came down on vacation, and still down here on vacation 25 years later, just making chocolate and raising the family.
And why chocolate?
Excuse me?
Why chocolate?
Yes. And
why did you choose chocolate? Why did you go into starting OBOLO?
Yeah, so in my time, I first started working with cacao and chocolate in Ecuador back in the early 2000s. 2001, 2002, 2003, I was working with a group in the Ecuadorian Amazon that was growing cacao, and we helped add value to it, transform it to chocolate, and support health, education, and rainforest conservation programs with the sales of the chocolate. I came back to Chile in 2003, left chocolate completely behind me. Never thought I was still a chocolate connoisseur. I would buy bars and so forth, but I never thought about getting back into chocolate. And I jumped into another one of my passions, which is environmental conservation. And I started to work for the Nature Conservancy, which many people might have heard of. It's a large environmental nonprofit based in the United States. And I worked with the Nature Conservancy here in Latin America, projects all across the region. And in 2013, this little girl here,
here's Emma! Hello!
So in 2013, Emma was born. This is my youngest daughter. And there's a saying in Spanish that when babies are born, the little translation is they come with a piece of bread under their arm. the actual translation isn't that romantic, but what it means is they got bearing gifts. And Emma's gift when she was born was the inspiration and motivation to get back into chocolate. And slowly I started, this is 2013, so 7 years ago now, started getting back into hobby chocolate making. I was still working with the Nature Conservancy at the time. Did that for 2 years while I was with the Conservancy, made chocolate at home, was liking it, and in 2015 decided to retire from the Nature Conservancy after 10 years. I kind of felt that 10 years was a good amount of time with the Conservancy, and I started to make chocolate full time, and now it's OBOLO chocolate.
And now it's taken over your life in a beautiful way. That's exciting. And oh my goodness, and here's the angel who inspired it all. I'm so honored that we
got
get you.
her chocolate shirt on from San Francisco.
Love it, love it, love it. Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful shirt on a beautiful lady. So, while we've got Emma here, I wonder, Mark, if maybe we could ask, so much of what we're talking about today in terms of crafting chocolate and crafting equality is looking ahead to the next generations of Mother Earth's abundance and of the human family. So I wonder, what would Emma say is the best thing about Dad's business?
Oh, she told me she would be on camera, but she doesn't want to talk. But I bet you can tell you, what's your favorite chocolate? So simple.
And I didn't mean to put her on the spot.
So we started making 2-ingredient dark chocolates 7 years ago, something like that. And then as we adapted to the market, we started making some more. The Pango Pure 70. But then the Chilean market has a bit of the sweet tooth to it. So we started making some dark milk chocolates, our dulce tres leches chocolate, white chocolate. And Emma here particularly likes that dulce tres leches caramelized white chocolate. I think that's probably her favorite.
Delicious. I love that bar too because it tastes like I'm eating cake. I love it. Licking the spoon, licking the batter off the spoon.
But we have an older son, Pedro, who's 14. Another one of the inspirations or motivations for me to start this small business is to give them an opportunity, an educational opportunity. So, as mentioned, I grew up in the Midwest, in the United States, and we all grow up working. We all grow up with jobs as teenagers, and you learn a lot from those experiences. And here in Latin America, or here in Chile, there isn't necessarily those sort of quality opportunities to get that other part of education when you're younger. And so I wanted to give an opportunity for Pedro and for Emma to kind of see what it is to work in a small business, to talk with customers, to see what it all entails. And so another one of my motivations for the family is to give them an opportunity experience, a learning experience.
I love that. We were just talking earlier that sometimes what's caught is more important than what's taught. So being able as a child to be in that type of positive business and life environment with parents, that's so valuable.
There's nothing better like when we have big events, when the store's open, of course. We're on lockdown here going on 3 months, but hopefully we'll be back open again someday. And when we have big events, Pedro, our 14-year-old, he gets behind the counter. And he's the best salesperson that we have. Everybody loves him. He's got a great smile. He knows all the products. He knows all the prices. He can talk about in depth. And so when I see him,
he's a star.
It makes me very happy.
That's impressive. He's a star like his sister and like his dad and like his mom. Right. So, gosh, I wish we could just keep going. I want to be respectful of your time and our viewers' time and our program's time. So in the time we have remaining, I wonder if you could say a word on what does equality mean to you, whether in terms of balancing life and business with your family or in terms of the cacao and chocolate that you work with. What's equality for you?
Equality is in my DNA. It's how you do things, how you treat people. And I think, we are where we are today with OBOLO 7 years later because we do treat people the right way. It's at these tough moments now. We're going through the COVID crisis now around the world. But even before that, we were going through a social crisis here in Chile. So we're going on 6 months of hard times down here. it's affected our business because we're located in an area that's been very affected by the protests and so forth. And it's at these moments when you realize that because of the way we treat people, they're still with us. Our team, our family, and that's what it makes it all sort of. You realize that it's how you do business that really matters.
How you do business, it's about the people. The beautiful chocolate is the vehicle for supporting people and planet. I love it. I love it. Well,
Goodbye.
Emma's ready to roll. Thank you, my dear Emma. It's lovely to see you. And we're going to let all of us roll. We're just over our time. But Mark, I'm so grateful that you could share your thoughts, your words of wisdom with us. And I'll make a quick mention that your bars are available at YaharaChocolate.com online and RareBirthReserves.com online for shipment anywhere in the U.S. Many other places too, but those two are shipping anywhere. I'll put it all in my blog, ChocolateUpland.com.
Yep.
So final word for me is two things. Big hug to you, Mark. I wish that we were here together to eat all of your amazing chocolate. And then finally, big hug to everybody participating today. Keep eating slavery-free chocolate. Thank you. We did it.
Valerie. Thank you, Matt. Great chocolate. Hi, Lane. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you next time.